So in this video, I'm talking about the evolution of music technology and really portable music devices as a whole, and really how far they've come over the past 20 years. So without hesitation, let's get into it. So to begin, we're going to start by talking about the MP3 player, which I feel like is really the most well-known, oldest, modern, portable music player in the last 20 years. So the MP3 player was introduced in 1999. It was originally a design made by a German engineer, but it was patented in 1999 by the United States and perfected in the United States in 1999. And it's really what people think an MP3 player is when they see it. It holds audio files that can be downloaded through a computer or really any electronic device. It has a headphone jack, and it's small, it's portable, and was really, at the time, the modern iPhone because it can hold whatever music you wanted it to, and it could hold the audio files. So that's what an MP3 player was. So now we're going to move a little bit more modern into iPods and iPod Touches created by Apple. And this was really Apple's first big invention and breakthrough. So the first iPod was released by Apple in 2009, only had 5 to 10 gigabytes. It was really, really small, fairly cheap to buy too. At the time, I guess it was fairly cheap. And it slowly progressed into where 2007, where the iPod Touch came around, significantly more like an iPhone. You could download apps, download music. iOS was created shortly before that, so now you could hold iOS. And it was really similar to an iPhone, like I said earlier, with the exception of the phone part, really. So yeah, it really wasn't an iPhone, but it was an iPhone at the same time, as it had the same features. I mean, it had similar screen size, looked similar to an iPhone, fit in your pocket similar to an iPhone, like I said, just without the phone part. And now speaking of iPhones, now we're going to move into really the most modern type of music technology, which is an iPhone or smartphones. But I'm going to use iPhones because we talked about iPods recently. That was an Apple invention. So they were released in 2007, or at least the first generation was, but they really came around in 2012, where Steve Jobs, along with Apple, released the iPhone 4S, the 5S, the 5C, and this was really when smartphones and Apple's idea of an iPhone, or Apple's idea of a smartphone, started picking up. People started buying them more. Their sales went up drastically, and you can see almost this switch from an iPod, which was really the main idea of it was to hold music, photos, and just some games, to where you can have a phone that did all of that, and the storage was better, cameras were better, screens were better, they were bigger. So obviously people wanted more screen, a better camera, more storage, more accessibility to music, more apps, and it was overall such a innovation that there was really no going back. So I guess the main comparison that comes to mind is the comparison of the MP3 player versus the iPod. And the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that the MP3 player was strictly for audio. You really couldn't do anything else on it other than download music files and just put your headphones in and listen to your music, as opposed to an iPod was you could have games on it, you could take video, you could take photo, and it was a good camera too. But you could do all that, which you could do with an iPhone, but obviously it didn't have the phone part. But the change from the MP3, which was only a music technology device, to now going into a multiple use device where you could save photos and videos in a cloud or on a SIM card per se. And it's really evolved into an iPod versus an iPhone, where really there's hardly any change other than a better camera, more storage, more options, and really just, I guess, an iPod on steroids, because it's everything my iPhone can do, an iPod can do the same thing, other than take calls and text messages. It's really And I guess if we were to turn this compare contrast into a pros and cons video, we have to say that the biggest pro of having an iPhone, whether it be an iPhone 4, 5, 6, something older, would be the fact that you can take calls and text messages and still store your games, your photos, your videos, and your music all in one and not have to carry around two devices. But if you look at the cons of that, I mean, my iPhone's big. I mean, I really can't fit it. I can only fit it in my pocket, or it's the only thing I can fit in my pocket. It's not really something where it's low profile. Like, it sticks out in my pocket. I have to put it in my own pocket. So I'd definitely be a con of it. Meanwhile, the MP3 and the iPod was like a little thing where it was so easy to access, so easy to hide, so low profile that it didn't really bother anybody, or it wasn't really a big thing. And now, like, everybody's striving to have the newest iPhone or the newest technology, and that's really where I think that the pros and cons, we can start comparing and contrasting all this that I've talked about in technology. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.